Stay connected to us by friending us on Facebook. Just click on the little blue F at WHBC.com.
Good morning and welcome to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your pharmacist, Paul Wade. We're very glad you joined us this morning. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Studio Arts and Glass, Kiko Auctioneers and Realtors, and, of course, our technical producer, J.D. DeAngelis. In the studio with me is Nancy Warmby, Executive Vice President of Medicine Center Pharmacies, and our very special guest, Dr. Mark Lamielle, a doctor of family medicine with Aultman Medical Group. Good morning, Dr. Lamielle. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So there's a time each year that we always hold dear, the good old summertime. We wait through the winter snow, all the spring that we've experienced lately, all the rain, and look forward to the sun, the breeze, and the good old summertime. But the combination of warm weather and school vacation is an opportunity to enjoy the outdoors, but it can also be a time for injuries. Summer months account for nearly half of all injury-related deaths to children, and hospital emergency rooms will see a significant spike in accidents and injuries. So this morning we will talk with Dr. Lamielle about safe fun in the sun and take the opportunity to learn and be aware of activities that may pose a risk. We'd like to remind you that today's program is also available on our podcast, which can be downloaded from the App Store on your mobile phone. Look for Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy, and you can listen to any of our programs anytime. If you have questions you'd like addressed during the program today, please post them on our live Facebook feed.
So, Dr. Lamielle, introduce yourself, please, and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. And we know you spent some time in Tampa.
Well, sure we did. Yes, it's glad to be back here in Stark County. My wife and I are excited to be back here. Old friends, relatives that we haven't seen for a while. And, yes, I spent the last 5 years in Tampa, was part of Tampa General Medical Group, and we had an opportunity to come back and join the Aultman Medical Group here in Alliance, and glad to do that. It's a very nice practice, and I think I fit in very well with the personalities there, and we have a good group.
Now, is your office in Louisville or is it in Alliance?
Our main office is in Alliance, and Aultman also has a building on Route 62 right across from St. Thomas Aquinas.
Sure.
And I graduated there. It's nice to
open
up the curtain from my office and see my old high school there, yes.
So you're working out of that office, too?
I work out, yes, a day or two a week, and we're also in the Alliance office as well.
Who else is with you in that Louisville practice?
Dr. Lynette Renneker is there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been there for some years.
Good, okay. So we want to talk about summer safety for the family. So in general, what would you say are the most common illnesses that we fight during the summer, issues and so things like that?
We see a variety of things during the summer. There's a lot of problems, usually with the Ohio Valley here, and dealing with allergies and allergic rhinitis. We have episodes of sinusitis, ear infections. Our patients with COPD often have difficulties with climate transition, or weather changes, rather. The times they have difficulties, or the cold, drier of the winter and the warm, moist air of the summer. So we see problems with them. We also see our share of sprains, strains, injuries from falls, skin issues, sunburns, quite a variety.
This weather we're having here now, do you bring it back with you from Tampa or what? I don't remember a spring, summer like this in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about this?
Not much we can do with it in Ohio, right?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about swimming and swimmers here. And I guess I have to ask, when my children were little, I used a little bit of white vinegar in their ears after swimming, and it was supposed to prevent swimmer's ear by helping evaporate the water. Does it work?
Well, I think there's some truth to that. Yes, it probably worked also by maintaining an acidic environment in the ear canal as well.
Okay.
Plus, it probably gave a little extra attention to getting the ears dry, which is one of the important things in preventing otitis externa. When you're done swimming, make sure that the ears are dry and the water is drained well from the ear canal, and that's some of the biggest ways to prevent that.
One of the common, one time it was on prescription products, does have or did have acetic acid in it, which of course is vinegar.
The product was Vosol.
Oh.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah,
I'm not sure where that product sits these days, but
yeah, and I'm not sure it was helpful in the past. A lot of times I used it for patients, and say if they were particularly prone to that, I would have them put that in there a couple of drops a week as a prophylactic measure. So.
Sure. I believe the pool chemicals are a little bit more sophisticated than, say, 15, 20 years ago, too. They're not so much using chlorine, they're using...
Yeah.
My daughter just put in a pool, and she's got some kind of fancy chemicals.
Most of them have chlorine generators now, and they're saltwater pools, and that might be a less of an irritant than the chlorine was in some cases. That's true. That's true.
Sure. Interesting enough, she tells me that 1 inch of rain puts 1,000 gallons of water in the pool. So you have to correct that with pool chemicals to keep the dilution proper on the water.
Right.
How many people do that?
Yeah, that's true. Oftentimes you had to reshock your pool.
Yeah.
Are some people more prone to ear infections than others, and how do you prevent them if they are?
Some people, they do build up an excessive amount of wax, which, might hold more water in the ear canal. Some people also have a sharp ear canal, and that might prevent water from draining as well as it might for another individual. So just being aware of that as well. Some of those individuals might benefit from wearing some of the malleable type earplugs that you can mold. It's kind of like a therapy putty that you can put in, and it would keep the water from entering the ear, and sometimes that might be helpful in those individuals.
Is there a difference between pool water and lake water?
Well, it depends. Not that you can't get an ear infection from a perfectly sanitized clean pool. I mean, that happens to the people with the anatomical issues. But being in a clean pool and avoiding lake water, where you're not always aware of what's been there. Yeah.
Or the river around here if you're kayaking.
Right. Yeah, the old farm pond and what drains in it, plus other chemicals these days make that a little bit more hazardous too to avoid.
What about boating? Okay, safety tips for families.
Well, boating safety, that's very important, and several things. Know where you're boating and know your equipment in your boat. Within the boat, make sure everybody, of course, has a life jacket and knows how to distribute themselves around the boat to keep a balanced ride. Fire extinguishers, all of those things help. And, as far as being aware of your equipment, there's always boater safety courses that if you're not that familiar with boating, why, a lot of people rent a boat and take off across the water. Why, it's helpful to be well educated on, the do's and don'ts of boating. It's easy with other people out on the water to, to get in trouble pretty quick if you're not sure what you're doing.
Do you own a boat, or did you in Florida?
I did. No, I owned several boats here in Ohio.
Okay.
Boated both on Lake Mohawk and Atwood.
All right.
So yeah.
No longer?
No longer. We we sold that when we moved to Tampa. So.
Oh, you didn't have a boat in Tampa?
Yeah.
That's no good. Although I can't imagine the congestion in the water. Tampa.
Yeah, it's quite, with the cruise ships going in and out and the merchant ships, why there's a lot of action. In fact, we had patients that worked on the docks there. And, so it's quite a different waterway to be on.
What about a condition called secondary drowning? Is it true that children or adults swallow water while swimming? Is that an issue, dangerous, or where are we at here?
Well, that's a condition that can happen. As always, we always want to pay attention to, our little ones in the water and our kids in the water, and you always want to be aware of what's going on with them. But things such as secondary drowning can help, or can happen. What occurs is that, either through just some inadvertent swallowing of the water and aspirating that amount of water, or getting dunked inadvertently or unknowingly, some of that water can wash into the lungs. And what happens, that water will wash away some of the surfactant that keeps the alveoli, the air sacs within the lungs, open, and that can compromise the integrity of the lung, can lead to pulmonary edema. You know pretty quick if, that happened to your child when they got out of the water. I mean, coughing, short of breath, and a lot of times, that'll clear up spontaneously, but that can also progress. Child could become hypoxic and become irritable because the oxygenation is not there, and once you get to that point, things could progress pretty quickly. So it's important, if you do have that happen, to be aware of that and get your child emergency care as soon as possible.
I often wondered how many people with a home pool know CPR.
Yes.
Really,
yes.
To me, is almost mandatory.
I think every person that has a pool, and everybody should know CPR, but
sure.
Mostly those people as well. Correct.
Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what symptoms should we watch for if we're concerned about dry drowning?
Well, again, a change in behavior, from the child or the person after exiting the pool. You'd have coughing, you'd have chest pain, trouble breathing, extreme fatigue, like I say, irritability, drop in energy levels, all of those things where the brain isn't getting enough oxygen, you can get in trouble. So those are the things to watch for. But if that progresses and doesn't take a quick turnaround, why then get help emergently.
So let's switch gears to the land for a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
How important is a bike helmet?
Very important. I've had, been witness to a lot of, last week, one of my neighbors called me out to, check someone in our neighborhood. The gentleman made a quick turn to avoid some sand cranes that were walking across the road and got thrown over the handlebars and dislocated his shoulder.
Oh.
I remember when I was in practice a few years ago, one of our high school students was driving his bike down the hill very fast, got thrown up over the handlebars, and ended up with a skull fracture and lost the vision in that eye, in his right eye.
Oh.
So, helmets are a necessity, and proper helmet fit is very important. We'd like to make sure that the helmet is certified. It has a CPSC sticker in it that meets certain manufacturing requirements. You want to ensure that helmet fits properly, both above the eyes, usually a couple finger widths above the eyebrows for proper vision. Make a Y strap, a Y pattern with the strap under the ears and is firmly under the chin to secure the helmet, but not tight enough to restrict breathing.
I think we got to take a break. Okay. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Have you heard about Tap On It? It's a new way to get great coupons on your smartphone from all types of vendors. Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies. So you text the words Tap On It, that's Tap On It, TAPONIT, 82928. Tap on the link that comes up, and up comes your coupons. The Medicine Center Pharmacy coupons are buy $30 worth of merchandise at the Medicine Center Pharmacy and get $10 off. You can also earn a free first aid kit. This is a great way to save money. Tap on it at the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
With a heart attack, every second counts. Every moment the blood supply to your heart is cut off or reduced leads to heart damage or death. Mercy Medical Center can stop a heart attack in record time. Mercy is the only hospital in the nation that can open a blocked artery right in the ER, just minutes after arrival, saving lives and preventing further heart muscle damage. That's because Mercy's Emergency Chest Pain Center was America's first to achieve full accreditation and the first to install a fully functional cardiac catheterization lab just a few steps away from our ER doors. The average time in the U.S. from ER arrival to opening of a blocked heart artery is 64 minutes. At Mercy, thanks to our ER cath lab and the area's most experienced emergency heart care team, it's faster. We're capable of opening a blocked artery in as little as 5 minutes. If you have heart attack symptoms, get to Mercy. We can stop a heart attack in record time. To learn more, visit cantonmercy.org/heart.
Wendy here from Studio Arts and Glass. I'd like to invite you to our annual Garden of the Arts show, Friday and Saturday, June 14th and 15th from 9 until 8 p.m. You'll find fabulous, vibrant colored summer jewelry, horsehair pottery, and tons of hummingbird feeders. Come for the great food and La Pizzeria's famous brownies. We're on Apple Grove and 77 in North Canton. Or find us at studioartsandglass.com.
Are you tired of spending time sorting your medication? Hi, pharmacist Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacy. A locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, whether you are a caregiver or personally take medications, our pill packets will change how you take your medication forever. Instead of multiple pill bottles, you'll want to receive one easy dispensing box that contains all of your medications in individual packets. Organized by date, time, with instructions clearly labeled, it's simple, convenient, and safe. Call or stop by your local Medicine Center pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia. Health Mart, caring for you and about you. Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Nancy and I are discussing summer safety with Dr. Mark Lamielle with Aultman Medical Group. Have a question, post it on our live Facebook feed.
Okay, we're going to talk for a minute and with some help from JD, try to show you on Facebook. But there's been a lot in the news lately about counterfeit helmets. So Dr. Lamielle is going to show you the sticker that should be on the inside of your bike helmet to make sure that it is a legitimate, good helmet that's going to protect your head. Got that, JD?
Yeah. This is a helmet here we have provided from Aultman Hospital's program, and the certification sticker is noted to be inside of that. And it is a CPSC sticker, which stands for Consumer Product Safety Commission. There's also another standard with ASTM standard as well, which is the American Society for Testing Materials. So, make sure that you've got a good product and a fit helmet for your child when that's purchased.
And listeners, you'll want to pay attention because in a few moments, Dr. Lamielle is going to select a number and we're going to give that helmet away. But before that, Doctor, can you tell us about the Aultman program for bike helmets for school-age children?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Aultman Hospital has been providing helmets to first graders since 2005. The idea for Aultman's Health Foundation Safety First program started in 2005 from a brainstorming session with Aultman CEO Edward Roth III. Along with giving the students helmets, Aultman believed it was important to educate the students on bicycle safety and rules. There was a 25-minute class developed, and that could be taught by volunteers and employees, which use additional educational coloring books and activity books titled Practice Bike Safety. When the program began in 2005, Aultman partnered with 6 elementary schools surrounding Aultman's main campus. That expanded in 2007 to all 16 Canton City elementary schools. And each year, this expanded to then include all first graders in Stark County and including some in adjacent Carroll County and Orville City schools. In 2019, Aultman Hospital and their volunteers visited over 67 schools, taught 215 classes, distributed more than 5,000 helmets with over 400 volunteers. And with this year, there were 4 additional schools added in Columbia and Portage counties. Quite a program.
Wow, that is awesome. So, Dr. Lamielle, what number listener should we give this helmet away to?
Well, I think we should give this to the 5th caller.
Okay, so listeners, if you can give us a call at 330-450-1480, the 5th caller will receive this bicycle helmet. and you can pick it up at the Canton Medicine Center Pharmacy located at 2526 West Husk, right in front of Aultman Hospital.
Okay. Calls are coming in. So what about trampolines? I see they started to show up in the yards in the last couple of weeks. Are probably soaked.
Yes, which is one of the
But they
things
didn't
that
show up in the yards.
Yeah, you have to watch for a wet trampoline. That's one of the danger signs. That's right.
I kind of have mixed reviews on these things, and they tell me it's a great cardio workout, but it seems to be a lot of children injured on these things.
Yeah, that's very true.
What do we do with the safety with these things?
Well, yeah, with respect to the statistics, yes, you're correct. Annually in the United States, there's almost 250,000 trampoline-related injuries that occur in the United States. 75% of these injuries are in children 14 years and younger. Children under 6 were treated for about 15% of trampoline injuries in hospital emergency rooms, so it's a big problem. You have to really consider, a few things as far as jumping safely on these trampolines, as well as looking, again, at the equipment, just as in boating. We're looking at equipment requirements for trampolines. It's best to purchase a round trampoline, as rectangular trampolines provide a dangerously high bounce at times. Trampolines with high safety nets also around the perimeter protect, as well as having safety pads that completely cover the springs, hooks, and frames. You have to place the trampoline away from other play areas, buildings, and trees so it can be easily observed, and carefully review the safety materials included with your trampoline when you do purchase it. As far as jumping safely, a trampoline is an activity usually for children recommended to be 6 and older. Adult supervision and spotters are very helpful in avoiding injuries. Never allow more than one person to jump at one time on these recreational home trampolines. Do not permit gymnastic exercises or stunts such as somersaults or flips, and never allow children to bounce off the trampoline. And as I said, never jump on a wet trampoline. It's very easy to get, limb injuries, neck injuries, all sorts of things can occur with this.
I'm told there's also an increase in your homeowner's insurance on these things too.
Yes,
which I've heard.
That's very true. My wife told me to mention that. Yeah. Because that, just moving back to Alliance, that was one of the questions we had to answer: is do you have a home trampoline? Yeah. So yes, that is an issue.
Doctor, you'll be happy to know that the winner of our bike helmet is a Louisville resident.
Excellent.
So congratulations to Linda Parrish. And again, that will be available for you at the Canton Medicine Center Pharmacy. Well, you know what, Linda, probably it might be easier for you. We'll take it to the Louisville Pharmacy, 700 West Main Street in Louisville. I will take that over there this afternoon. So probably anytime late this afternoon and into the weekend, you can pick that up.
Congratulations. It's a nice-looking helmet.
Yes, congratulations. Okay, bottom of the hour, time for the news. Listen to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Hi, this is Brad White from the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Perhaps you've gotten the urge to venture outside and clean up the garage or do some yard work, resulting in muscle aches and pains. If you have sore muscles or aching joints, you may want to consider a prescription pain-relieving cream available with a prescription at the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Our pharmacists can work with you and your physician to get topical pain creams that can be rubbed directly on the source, reducing inflammation and pain. Topical creams avoid troublesome side effects and dependency issues that can be caused by oral medications. The Medicine Center Pharmacy has an accredited compounding laboratory, and it is your source for custom medications. Custom compounded pain-relieving creams, available only at the Medicine Center Pharmacy, where wellness begins. Visit us at medshoprx.com for the pharmacy nearest you. That's medshoprx.com.
You won't want to miss this upcoming Kiko Absolute auction, Saturday, June 1st, which is tomorrow, with Bill Gill Jr. You'll find farm equipment, tools, antiques, furniture, scrap metal, lumber, farm machinery, and equipment, working tractors, and 7 vacuum flow systems, I guess, in original boxes, and a lot more. Mark your clock for tomorrow, June 1st, auction. Begins at 10 a.m., located at 10395 Orville Street, Northwest Massillon. Call Bill Gill Jr. at 330-455-9357 or visit KikoAuctions.com for more information. And Bill has been very, very busy signing up new auctions, so here's another one next week on his schedule. And he's got a third one, which we're not going to promote today. But anyway, 10:30 a.m., Thursday, June 6th at 4035 Croydon Drive, Northwest. You'll find fine Oriental rugs, furniture, stair lift, Drexel furniture, paintings by Harry Myers, Krugler, Old Staffordshire, and much, much more. So call Bill Gill at 330-455-9357 for information and more scoop about this auction.
Wendy here from Studio Arts and Glass. I'd like to invite you to our annual Garden of the Arts show, Friday and Saturday, June 14th and 15th from 9 until 8 p.m. You'll find fabulous, vibrant, colored summer jewelry, horsehair pottery, and tons of hummingbird feeders. Come for the great food and La Pizzeria's famous brownies. We're on Apple Grove and 77 in North Canton. Or find us at StudioArtsandGlass.com.
The Half Off and Out By store in Louisville just got in a new load of furniture from a major department store. And also lots of new drugstore merchandise from large drug chains. Of course, all this merchandise, furniture, and more is 50% off. And as a special gift to our loyal customers, we're reducing all of our furniture an additional 50% off. That's right, 50% off and an additional 50% off. Don't miss this Memorial Day sale. You'll regret it. The Half Off and Out By store in Louisville. See us on Facebook or halfoffhotbuys.com. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your host and pharmacist, Paul White. Today, Nancy and I are discussing summer safety with Dr. Lamielle. We've got a lot more to cover this morning, so let's get back to the show. So, you're outside walking the towpath. That's a Canal Fulton, and where is it?
Oh, they're all over.
Is it all over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Camping or hiking, you're likely to encounter poison oak or poison ivy. How do you avoid the associated rash, and how do you recommend treating it if you find yourself covered with it?
Avoidance is utmost importance. There's several things that you have to worry about in Ohio, mostly poison ivy and poison sumac. There's not much poison oak in our area. What you have to do is learn to recognize the plants and the vines they grow on. They're in groups of 3. The old adage, leaves of 3, let it be. Be careful to come in contact with them, and the vines, they'll tend to nest around trees as well as climb up and vine around the tree. Poison sumac comes in a similar pattern, but there's more 7 to 9 leaves often on that pattern. The poison ivy irritation comes from the chemical urushiol that is on the plant, and that can get on your skin and irritate, and that can also get on your clothing as well. So when you come in, I think the important thing is to try to get that chemical off of your skin, get it off your clothing as well. They have several soaps that you can use. One used to be called Zanfel, and
it's still
I
out
understand
there, yeah.
that's still available that you can use to wash that chemical off your skin. And otherwise, you could use dishwashing soap and cold water, as hot water will help that chemical bind to the skin. So you want to avoid that. If you develop the rash, you can use antihistamines, cool compresses for comfort, hydrocortisone creams, the old colloidal oatmeal baths if you have an extensive area, just like we used to use for chicken pox and soothing the itching. But that's what you have to watch for most commonly. If you're extremely allergic to it, you have to watch for trouble breathing or swallowing, symptoms of swelling, especially on your face, what we call angioedema. Those are very emergent symptoms and need, again, treated in an emergency room. Call 911.
We have that Zanfil soap in a generic, like a private label, and it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, that's good because the private label was usually more costly. That's right.
There are some people who use the harsher soaps, and I can't
the
remember.
Old lye soaps.
Yeah, the old lye soaps and stuff, and I think, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a brand name out there, Grandma's something soap.
Yeah.
We sell it, and you're really right on it. The key is to get that stuff off as quickly as you can get it off. So you don't spread it all over your body.
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Yeah.
You've got it, and it's seeping.
Yeah.
Does that spread it?
Well, once you wash off the initial chemical, that's the means of spreading the poison ivy. So in that respect, once it's washed off, you can give it to somebody else. Now, the problem is if it becomes secondarily infected, and it becomes like a cellulitis or an impetigo type infection, that can be spread. But the irritation from the chemical itself, once it's washed off, no.
Yeah. Well, we're going from poison ivy to ticks.
Okay.
And they seem practically epidemic
Yes.
around here this year.
That seems to be a heavy year for ticks, I agree.
Yeah. Both my husband and I have had them already this year, found them on ourselves and on our dog. So how do you remove a tick?
Yeah.
And if you get it properly removed, when should you seek medical help?
Well, once you come in from an outing in the woods, it's important to check both yourself and your pets for ticks, and it's important to remove them quickly. I mean, the easier or the earlier rather that you get the tick off, the less complications you'll have. To properly remove a tick, there's all sorts of old methods of removing them, the petroleum jelly, the lighted match. I mean, just run the whole gamut, just like, methods for poison ivy. But what you need to do is remove the tick as close to the skin as you can, right at the head with fine tweezers. And just remove it quickly, straight out, no twisting. You don't want to release the contents, if there are any, from the gut of the tick into your skin. So just grasp it, pull it away, and wash the area with soap and water.
Okay. Very good.
Ticks carry Lyme disease.
They sure do.
And do we have that
we do.
here yet?
We have that, yes. We have that in our area of Ohio. In pretty much all our counties, it's reported. I checked our census through 2019, and some of our adjacent counties, Stark has a presence of that. You get down into Harrison, Coshocton, some of the other southern counties, it gets a little more prevalent. But you have to be wary of Lyme disease. And now, it's as opposed to the wood tick, which is a little larger, the tick called the black-legged tick that carries Lyme's disease is about the size of a poppy seed.
So,
really small.
So they're really small.
Let me get a picture on how that ticks are moved around. The deer carry them. Animals carry them.
Actually, mice. Yeah.
Okay.
Mice are the favorite vector for them, but yes, they look for hosts in deer, pets, our dogs, humans. Yes.
But when we're walking around the woods, we're not brushing up against any animals, so we're getting them off the bushes or the
high grass.
They'll migrate.
High grass. Okay.
They'll drop from. Seem to be ever present in heavy brush. Correct.
Okay. So when we're hiking around the woods, what are we going to do?
Yeah, you wear protective clothing,
but we don't have any sort of repellent. Is that correct?
No, we do, and actually we have it in the pharmacy.
Very good.
Well, I know we have that, but I'm just wondering if people thinking about bug repellent, insect repellent, they're not thinking about deer tick.
Deer ticks,
Deer
yeah.
tick repellent. So when,
That's
you know,
right.
and the stuff is not cheap.
So if
I
we have
will
a
give you
product,
that. It's
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
The tick products or whatever products that are supposed to keep them away.
Yeah.
So the consumer is not likely to purchase them.
Yeah. So the best thing you can do is, prevent it when you're in the woods. Make sure you would wear more protective clothing than you would as an outing on the beach for sure.
Yeah, long pants,
Long sleeves,
Sure.
brimmed hat, those kind of things will help.
Sure.
Sure.
So that takes us to the next insect,
Mm-hmm.
bee stings.
Bee stings, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what's your recommended treatment for a bee sting, and how do people know if they're allergic?
Well, a lot of times if you've not been stung before, you don't, and you have to watch again for escalating symptoms. The number of bee stings will cause a more adverse reaction too if you've never been exposed, and sometimes it seems to escalate the reaction. One of the first things to do when you're stung is to move away from that area so that you don't get re-stung from multiple stings, which can cause more reaction. But you just move to a safe area to avoid more. If need, just remove the stinger with like a fine piece of plastic, like a credit card, if the stinger's still there. Again, wash the area with soap and water. Cool compresses help. Use a cloth damp with cold water filled with ice and helps reduce the pain and swelling to that area. Usually, if one of the things that you can have around the home is, 0.5 or 1% hydrocortisone cream or calamine lotion, those old standbys, as well as having some Benadryl around as well to help reduce the itching.
Okay. Is the venom, we'll call it venom for no other reason, of wasps, yellow jackets, bees, honeybees, are they all the same as far as potential
As far as the irritant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not aware of any distinction between a wasp sting and a bee sting.
Okay.
That's something that...
So you get stung by one of them, it's the
research,
same
but-
as anything else.
Yeah.
I have a family member that when she's been stung 2 or 3 times, one time on her face, and her face just blew up like a watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
So some people apparently are ultra
sensitive
sensitive
to some of
whatever.
it. Yeah.
Now, when I was a kid, my neighbor, I got a wasp sting, and my neighbor put mud on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was a cool poultice, maybe it worked. I don't know.
But we do have also in the pharmacy ammonia sticks.
Mm-hmm. That's not anything that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah. It sounds interesting.
I forget what they're called exactly, but
Yeah.
that's you're supposed to
Supposed to touch it to
dab
the
it
area.
on the
Yeah.
bite or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I know, people have different sensitivities. I remember my daughter when she was young. If she would get 3 mosquito bites or, the 4th one, she'd break out in total body hives.
Wow.
We can be allergic to a variety of those.
Well, the repellents have really come a long way, in they're not as offensive, I guess, as like the old what was the lotion?
Yeah.
You're not calamine.
Yeah, you can. DEET has been very effective.
Yeah.
Can't use it in very young children, but
Yeah,
you have. It's good to reapply that. One thing about DEET though is you only apply it once during the day. You can get a toxicity buildup by applying DEET throughout the day.
Sure.
And you have to be careful. Some of these sunscreen products that you have that have DEET in them or insect repellent in them, you have to reapply those through the day, so you can get in trouble that way too. So be careful what product you buy for what activity are you doing.
And there are DEET-free lotions and stuff like that. I mean, some of the stuff is really sophisticated and that's come out in the last few years. Guess what? Our final break is here. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Have you heard about Tap On It? It's a new way to get great coupons on your smartphone from all types of vendors. Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies. So you text the words Tap On It, that's Tap On It, TAPONIT, 82928. Tap on the link that comes up, and up comes your coupons. The Medicine Center Pharmacy coupons are buy $30 worth of merchandise at the Medicine Center Pharmacy and get $10 off. You can also earn a free first aid kit. This is a great way to save money. Tap on it at the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The Half Off and Out Buy store in Louisville just got in a new load of furniture from a major department store, and also lots of new drugstore merchandise from large drug chains. Of course, all this merchandise, furniture, and more is 50% off. And as a special gift to our loyal customers, we're reducing all of our furniture an additional 50% off. That's right, 50% off and an additional 50% off. Don't miss this Memorial Day sale. You'll regret it. The Half Off and Out Buy store in Louisville. See us on Facebook or halfoffhotbuys.com.
With a heart attack, every second counts. Every moment the blood supply to your heart is cut off or reduced leads to heart damage or death. Mercy Medical Center can stop a heart attack in record time. Mercy is the only hospital in the nation that can open a blocked artery right in the ER, just minutes after arrival, saving lives and preventing further heart muscle damage. That's because Mercy's Emergency Chest Pain Center was America's first to achieve full accreditation and the first to install a fully functional cardiac catheterization lab just a few steps away from our ER doors. The average time in the U.S. from ER arrival to opening of a blocked heart artery is 64 minutes. At Mercy, thanks to our ER cath lab and the area's most experienced emergency heart care team, it's faster. We're capable of opening a blocked artery in as little as 5 minutes. If you have heart attack symptoms, get to Mercy. We can stop a heart attack in record time. To learn more, visit cantonmercy.org/heart.
When we hear the word pharmacy, we think prescriptions, right? Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies in Stark and Tuscarawas counties, a locally owned Health Mart pharmacy. Of course we carry prescriptions, but our stores carry way more than that. We have a large selection of ostomy and diabetic supplies and compression socks. All of our pharmacies carry a variety of canes, walkers, bath seats, rollators, and commodes, all at super low prices. Our rollators are only $69.95. Call or stop by our local Medicine Center pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia. Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Today we're talking with Dr. Lamielle from Aultman. So, we've been talking about multiple issues, summer issues today, and now we're down to campfires and grills. What suggestions for fire safety do you have?
Well, again, location and finding out the area where you can enjoy that safely. If you're home grilling, make sure that you have your grill away from any hanging branches or grilling too close to your garage so that you're getting fumes in the house. Those kind of things, clearing the area around your grill or around your fire pit. Out in the woods, it's quite a bit more a factor that you should have the area for a 5-foot area, for example, around your campfire, cleared of debris so that it's not going to catch with a sudden gust of wind. It's always helpful to keep a bucket with respect to a campfire, a bucket of water nearby and a shovel. Stack your fuel, your wood away from the fire. Don't discard matches into the brush. Never leave your campfire unattended. The same with your home grills. It's important, too, not to throw anything into the campfire. I've seen some bad injuries of people, for example, throwing cans or bottles. I had one instance where a person capped an empty pop bottle, beer bottle, whatever it was, threw it in the fire, and it exploded and ended up, piercing somebody's leg, and that was a severe, significant injury for some time. So, don't throw any flammables or even incinerate cans into those fires.
So we don't want to play around the fire, children playing around the fire, children near the fire, all that sort of thing.
For sure.
All this kind of stuff. And
it's like the trampolines, it's supervision.
For sure. Don't send your child out there to start the fire with a
can of lighter.
Yeah. It's just some of the things that happens is amazing. So, okay. So if there's a burn, we know you should have a first aid kit with you if you're camping. Whether the burn comes with marshmallows, hot marshmallows falling too close to the fire. What's the treatment here? The emergency treatment. If we're camping, we're going to be out in the middle of nowhere probably. So what's the next move?
Yeah. Well, first, remove the person from the burning process. remove, if you have jewelry, watches, rings, clothing around the burn area, remove that and clear that so that you can visually see what the extent of the wound is. You don't want to apply any ice or butter or ointments or anything right directly to the burn, anything that can further damage the skin. If the area is blistered, don't break the blisters. Leave that intact. The body will take care of that on its own. And as far as first aid, it would be handy to have a first aid kit with some Telfa. If it's over a flash burn area, you could use aloe vera products, and a lot of times with some lidocaine in them, those are helpful. But it's also helpful to have some sterile, clean gauze and bandage the area. You seek medical attention if that area of burn is extensive, to see if it goes beyond a superficial stage 1 burn. If it goes deeper than that, definitely have that reviewed. Make sure, as far as being out in the woods and trying to care for that on your own, just make sure that the area it remains clean and dressed, and keep yourself well hydrated through the process. Make sure and watch for signs of secondary infection.
That's a tough one when it's out in the middle of nowhere.
It is.
So, okay.
So how about sunscreen and sunburn? Can you give our listeners some information about how to properly use sunscreen? And if they miss it and get a sunburn, then what do they do?
Yeah. Well, for sure, first off, American Academy of Dermatology recommends everyone using sunscreen. A broad protection sunscreen, which protects against both UVA and UVB, ultraviolet A and B type rays, SPF of 30 or higher, depending on what your activity and your extent in the sun is, and make sure it's water resistant if you're in the beach.
Doctor, we're seeing new sunscreens come out to 80, 90, and 100 SPF.
Yes.
Now, the 100 is really expensive.
Yeah.
But I guess I always heard that anything above 50 was like throwing the money away. Okay.
Yeah. And I've heard and read similar things too. But it's like we always want the best protection, and so
Sure.
For myself, I usually use 70 for my outdoor activities.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. A little extra protection, I figure, is not going to be harmful. You have to watch what type of products for whom you use them. Aerosols oftentimes come in some of these higher ratings, and we want to put those on our children, but you have to watch and buy products specifically for our kids. They can inhale those aerosols, so you don't want to apply those on young children. They even talk about for adults applying them, you should spray them in your hands and then rub them on your face and your so that you don't get that in the environment. If we're on the beach now, they find that they're getting these chemicals in the sprays in the sand, and that's involving our environment as well. And for our patients that might be pregnant, there's some products in there that they might want to avoid that can adversely affect them as well. Retinol palmitate and titanium oxide, some of those products might be harmful to somebody that's pregnant.
So we missed the sunscreen, we didn't apply it correctly or often enough, and now we're just miserable with a sunburn.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Well, again, general, just removing yourself from the sun, keeping that area cool. Compresses will help. Aloe vera products, again, with some of that lidocaine in it, helps make the area less painful. And again, like I say, keeping yourself well hydrated. If more develops beyond that, again, looking for secondary infection or other allergic reactions that might be present, seek medical help.
The aloe vera gels seem to be extremely popular for burn aid now. What's your take on those?
Yeah, that's the products that I've recommended in the past. Do you see some new developments in products?
I really haven't seen anything in that. I just was reading about the new 100 SPFs, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we started to have people coming into the store, and apparently there's something going on out there in the media or literature or whatever for the laypersons, and we're starting to get questions on, hey, do you have this 100 or this 80 or 90 SPF? And we have a few containers of it, but it's an area that frankly, is very expensive when you get that high. So do we continue with it and order a lot, or what do we do about this? So we're going to play it by ear, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see, it's something I'll keep an eye on myself.
Yeah.
But if you have some areas of concern, I mean, if you're particularly sensitive in your nose, for your nose or parts on your face, you can, instead of using the 70, you just get the old titanium like I say, titanium dioxide, and apply those to certain areas. And use the.
Guess what? We're out of time. We never have enough time. Okay, we want you to tell our listeners where you're practicing and how they can get a hold of you and some things along that line.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I'm a member now of Alliance Community Medical Foundation, which is in the professional office building, which is attached to Aultman Alliance Community Hospital.
Okay.
And my office there is scheduled by calling 330-596-6560. And as I said, right now I'm in Louisville on Wednesdays, and that practice is located at 1909 Williamsburg Way in Louisville. And that can be appointments scheduled there, the same number.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mark Lamielle, Doctor of Family Medicine with Aultman Medical Group. We'd like to remind our listeners, if you suspect you have a medical issue, please contact your healthcare provider. Thanks to our sponsor, Studio Arts and Glass, Kiko Auctioneers and Realtors, and, of course, our technical producer, J.D. DeAngelis. As always, we thank you, our listeners, for joining us on Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Have a healthy week. We see you right here again Friday on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, your pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now at medshoprx.com.